Welcome to this episode of Veterans One, brought to you by Synergy One Lending. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs, and let me tell you, we are about to have some fun today. We really have some special lineup, including the San Diego Enforcers football team, first responders football team right here in San Diego. We get to meet the guys and hear all about a very exciting game that is coming up. And we have a very special heartfelt interview with one of our very own, James Carmody, that runs Rise Up Radio. He is the founder and does an incredible job out there inspiring others. And we're also going to talk about VA loans and what the new changes were, and with one of our relocation specialists. So make sure you get comfortable, grab a nice cozy something to drink for the winter, and we are going to jump in and get started right now. One of the greatest parts of my job is the great people that I get to meet and the friends that I actually get to have here in the studio on Veterans One. This is no exception. We get to talk with James Carmody, and he is the founder and host of Rise Up Radio that we're going to talk about. And today we are joining forces to talk about our passion for what we do and also for the military and veteran community. James, this is fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Amy.
Well, you're already a rock star and so well known, and so we get to kind of just sit here and let the audience just follow us having a good time catching up with each other, which I think is fun.
Well, you know, for me, it's about service, and there was an opportunity to rise up to actually share people's stories, you know, and give them a platform to do that. And I'm just trying to not screw it up and give people, you know, an opportunity to share their message and share what's going on.
Which is, people don't realize how powerful that is and how special it is. You and I get to sit in a seat of sharing people's stories and telling their stories in a way that most people don't get the opportunity to do, and I feel so blessed for it. And I want to rewind a little bit, because when I first met you, that was what resonated so much. I'd heard about you, your reputation had preceded you as your character, your heart, your passion for giving back, and also your excellence, you know, in your profession with Synergy One Lending and serving clients for so many years. But you have taken that and you've taken it 10 steps even more. And so I actually use you as an example and talk about you when you don't know it. So if your ears ringing, I do talk about you quite often. But I want our viewers to know a little bit more. Just talk about your background a little bit, and then we're going to get into kind of our passions.
Sure. Let's see. Gosh, transplant. Originally grew up Situate, Massachusetts, almost Cape Cod, about 25 miles south of Boston. Dad was in the Navy, then was a ship pilot. Wow. Mom was a homemaker and then a home health aide for a little while. Grew up loving the ocean. I commercial fished through high school and college, and literally up until I moved to San Diego. Learned hard work and work ethic at a young age, and just, you know,
that is serious
developed a love and passion for the water. And then I graduated from business school and came out here for a week. I had some friends that moved out here, and they're like, come on to San Diego. And I said, sure, I'm not going to New York yet. I haven't done the resume. Why not? And a week became 3 weeks, became,
all right, Mom and
Dad. Mom and Dad, I am moving to California. See you later. And I literally got here Thanksgiving of 2003 and just fell in love with it, fell in love with the people. Met my wife a couple years into it, and found the mortgage business, and it's just been like a huge blessing, and now this is home.
And you found the mortgage business at a time that there were a lot of transitions going on.
Yes.
You went through a lot of changes probably in the first 5 years that you didn't
Absolutely.
expect.
Yeah.
And how did you press through all that?
You know, it was interesting. You know, my first day in the mortgage business was December 15th, 2003. And it was right when rates had started coming down from like 8 to 7, 7 to the 6s. And we couldn't take applications fast enough.
Right.
It was easy. You know, it seemed like everybody was in the mortgage business, the real estate business. And I was fortunate enough to do really well at a young age. And then I found myself managing a brokerage in La Jolla and had a little over 50 loan officers. And then we got the news about the market crash. And literally you're watching CNBC and you're like, this bank's down, this bank's down. And then it's like, our whole pipeline just went away.
Yes.
And those 50 loan officers just slowly walked out the door. And I turned around and we had 3 floors and no team. So really had to reinvent myself. Really went from a transactional type of model with internet leads and those sort of things to building my network, you know, one relationship at a time. And, you know, fast forward this time, you know, 10 years later, It's all relationship business. We're 100% by word of mouth.
Right.
We don't advertise. And I love it. Love the mortgage business.
We could do an entire show talking about that transition, what that was like,
Yeah.
and how you find out what you're made of in that. I always talk about,
Totally.
talk about hearing recalculating route. That's that moment that happened for so many of us. I was in wholesale banking during all of that time as well, and went through the same experience as you, on the wholesale end, and it disappeared. So
it was tough,
It was.
It's
How do you
interesting.
recalculate
Carrie and I
route?
were just, we were dating at the time. She was managing a gym next to my office. That's how we met. She was managing a gym and a trainer. And there were a couple months, Amy, where we literally used her student loan checks to help pay my bills in the mortgage company. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, who is this woman? Like, she is a keeper, like that she has this much faith in me. Like, and I'm kind of moved and touched by it right now, just sharing it. But that's when I'm like, all right, it's time to rebuild. And I have the right person by my side to do that.
Don't you notice that I think those of us that went through that time professionally, that we have, I think, a little more empathy, compassion, understanding, and we know what it's like to lose it and to regain it and what it takes to rebuild and then serve and give back to others. And I think you're a perfect example of that, where, you've taken that, you had that experience, you went through it painstakingly, and now your career back on a successful platform where you're not only helping others with homeownership, you're also giving back to the community and to people in such a big way. When did you take that and start Rise Up Radio and realizing, I want to start now sharing inspiring stories, and what your heart is for that? When did that start?
Yeah, so Rise Up was originally requested by, a gentleman who owned a media company to be a real estate mortgage show. And, I had a partner at the time, and, he said, we're flattered, but thanks, no thanks. There's enough of those shows. And he was pretty persistent, So fast forward a few months later, asked again, and my partner and I at the time were looking, they're like, well, what's the opportunity here? What's wanted and needed by the community in the market? And we're like, you know what? Who's doing good work in San Diego? Like, who's actually doing good work in the community that's helping folks, serving others? Like, who's doing that stuff? Let's share that story. And so Rise Up was born literally out of a conversation in a conference room. And we started just calling our network and database and saying, hey, yeah, we're crazy, but we're doing the show. Who do you know that would be a good guest? And it was like one by one, we had these guests.
It's sort of organic and fun that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the, how that grows and flourishes on its own, where you see just genuine good people coming through your studio and coming through your interviews. And I know that a big chunk of that has been your passion for the military community.
Yep.
Obviously sharing that you were a Navy, child. Your dad served in the Navy. It was already ingrained in you probably, but how has that impacted you with the different interviews that you've done with the military and veteran community?
It's, it's been fantastic. About just shy of half of our guests are in the military, whether it be Marine, Sailor, Air Force, Coasties, Reserves. And we've been fortunate enough to have, CO from Miramar, CO from Naval Base Point Loma, CO from Naval Base Coronado, Tim Stentz was just on recently, a couple captains in the Coast Guard, and meeting these individuals, these leaders, and seeing their passion for their country, their patriotism, and really the service of the people that they're in charge of is just so moving and inspiring. And for me, it's an honor just to share their story, give the public an opportunity to see, okay, oh, this is what happens at Naval Base Coronado. I've known it's been there and covered about half the island my whole life, but I didn't really know everything that went on there. Right. And what do they deal with? What do they have coming up in the future? And to be able to share those stories is just tremendous.
And you're learning at the same time you're sharing it with your audience, which is probably so fun. I know I enjoy that here with Veterans One and the different platforms that I've had the opportunity to do that. And so it's fun that we get this opportunity. We get to tell their story. And at the same time, you still have a successful business. You're just a huge part of Synergy One Lending and have been for a long time. And I know you're passionate about VA home ownership.
Yeah, I mean, for us, about a third of our business are veterans. And, exciting thing is they actually just changed some of the rules at the beginning of the year where it's not based around county loan limits. Each county around the country used to have limits based upon median income. Well, that just changed. There's actually no limit. It's based on a debt-to-income ratio, which I think is an intelligent way to do it. It's what's someone's debts, what's their income, what do you qualify for? Well, now, you can go up to 55% of someone's income to qualify. It's still pretty aggressive, but you want to buy $1 million house, you want to buy a $1.5 million house over in Coronado, or some of these markets, you're an officer or you're E6 or above, do you qualify for that kind of stuff? Go for it. You're not restricted anymore. And one of the amazing things about the VA guaranteeing that loan is lenders offer really, really low interest rates. Currently as we record this, those fixed rates are in the low 3s, which are fantastic. And then some programs even get you into the 2s.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
and you
really
get to
exciting.
share this with them and see those light bulb moments go on and make a difference and help inspire them to then share that and help others do the same thing. And I just love the ripple effect. You're that stone that hit the water a long time ago that is still rippling. And there's so many of us that feel the effects of all the work that you've done and are still doing. And we've had some of the same guests on our different shows.
Yeah.
We've cross-referenced each other a lot of times. And as your friend and as your colleague, it's such an honor to sit with you today and to be able to share your story and who you are. And I am so excited for 2020 and what each of these shows and what our passions and what we're doing is coming about. And I'm thankful that Synergy Lending lets us do this.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like we are so blessed to be a part of the Synergy One family, and kind of that servant leadership heart and mind that the founders have.
That? I know.
And so really the model is around serving your fellow team members, serving the clients, and serving the market. And really the big value proposition is education. And it starts with teaching other people about money.
Yep.
Okay, you have a credit report, you have this FICO score thing, like, okay, what is that? What does it mean? Why does it matter? Okay, how do I do a family budget? Like, why does it matter to have 6 months of bills in a savings account liquid? Okay, what do I do with my TSP account? What do I do with converting my first primary to a rental? Like, all of those things. And it's just such a great privilege to be able to teach people about that and see them improve their lives for themselves and their family over the long term.
Yeah, it's a huge privilege, and it's a privilege to serve and do all of this with you. And so excited about what's ahead. Let's stay close connected, and let's keep making a difference. Thank you so much, James.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Enough said. Make sure you follow James Carmody, follow Rise Up Radio, and we'll be right back with more.
Video marketing on social media is trending as one of the major means of advertising and building your personal brand in 2019. You're probably asking yourself, what does Synergy One Lending do to get a front row seat to this show? You may not know this, but Synergy One Lending has access to the lights, camera, and action that brings social media marketing to a whole new level. Want to check it out? Look at that, we're already here. It's crazy, right? Thanks, guys. This is the main studio at the Synergy One Lending headquarters in San Diego, California, which is equipped with 3 remote-controlled HD cameras, 10 total TVs, and many high-quality production studio lights. Right now, I'm sitting on what we call the Storyteller set, which was recently updated with new furniture, a 9-monitor wall behind me, a giant touchscreen TV, and of course, the green screen, which you just saw. By the way, this is where I filmed my show this week today. Over here is our podcast station, which is equipped with 4 high-quality microphones and headphones and is capable of receiving phone calls in real time during your podcast session. This right here is our main desk. Outfitted with 2 TVs and a customizable color LED strip, this desk is now the home place for many other podcasts and shows produced by Synergy One Lending and Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. So you must have a ton of marketing ideas now floating around in your head. This studio is the perfect way to create videos for your social media awareness and grow your business. Here, you can and will deliver a digital mortgage and digital content that has no equal in mortgage lending today. Be a modern loan officer. We hope to see you here soon.
We love supporting everyone who serves here at Veterans One TV, and our first responders are definitely of such high importance to us. I have 2 great guests right now that I'm going to introduce you to that are not just incredible law enforcement firefighter here in San Diego, but they're having a whole lot of fun while they're doing it, and we're going to hear about the San Diego Enforcers. I'm so excited to introduce to you Emery and Joe. Hey guys.
How you doing?
Thank you for coming. It's so good to have you. I really was looking forward to this, and I hope our viewers are as well. So for those that are not familiar, the Enforcers, talk about what you guys do and talk about the team.
Well, we're all first responder football team. We play solely for charity. We've, I think, raised more money than anybody in the NPSFL, which is the league that we play for. We're composed of firefighters, police officers, border patrol agents, correctional officers, and then we also have spots on our teams for military members who are military police or military firefighters.
So we're going to talk about the fun of this and the background of it and everything else, but first, just for our viewers, so Emery, tell them what you do.
So I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years.
Thank you.
And I now am a police officer with the city of San Diego.
Awesome. We're so thankful to have you protecting us. Thank you.
And I'm a firefighter for the city of San Diego for the past 6 years.
6 years, do you love it?
I love it, it's great. So it's something I've always wanted to do. I have multiple family members that are firefighters, so just growing up with that environment definitely pushed me in that career path.
And Southern California will keep you busy with that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm sure you're not bored, and thank you so much for what you do. We truly appreciate it. And so in your spare time then, you guys have joined this football team and this league that's giving back. But let's talk about when it started. Like, how long has this team existed?
It's been around since the mid to late 90s. We had a little lapse in time just due to some administrative issues where the team wasn't there, but it came back, I believe, back in 2006. Made a bounce back, and since then we've won, I believe, 3 national championships and countless amounts of West Coast regional championships. So we've been around for quite some time. The league's been around for a long time, and we have deep roots down here in San Diego.
How many teams? Where does the league stretch?
So there's about 20 teams across the whole nation, multiple teams in a couple of the states. And then each team will travel about once during their season to another part of the country to play another team. For us, we're going to be going to West Virginia to play Roanoke, and we're going to be hosting NYPD later in our season here in San Diego.
Wow.
But the real reason we're here today is we want to promote our game against the Marines, who you guys will be talking to later on. It's we call our Salute Service game, Defender Bowl, San Diego Enforcers versus the Camp Pendleton Bulldogs. It's one of our biggest attended games of the season. With San Diego being such a huge military town, we encourage all of those citizens who have served past, present, to come watch some great football.
Yeah, can we come watch it?
Absolutely. It's going to be at Kearny High School off Comet Way, right off the 163. It's at 4 p.m. Kickoff time. Tickets are $10.
$10.
And all of that proceeds go to charity.
We should pay much more than that. Yeah, we should all be paying double at the door, at least.
Exactly. Yeah. So all the tickets sales go back to charity. It's going to be Honor Flight is the charity that it's going to be benefiting.
Oh, it's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit of fun here. I'm curious to know, do you have to try out to get on this team? You know, what does it take training for you? What does it look like for you guys actually to be on this team? Your time, commitment, dedication, training, all of that.
So to play on the team, or to come out to be eligible to play on the team again, you just have to be a first responder, firefighter, law enforcement, something of that nature. You come out to the team. Everyone's going to have their place on a team. However, what we have coming up actually tomorrow, starting tomorrow, is we have our camp. And what it is the whole weekend is nothing but football. So tomorrow we have a 2-a-day. We start early in the morning. We don't finish till around 4 p.m. of doing nothing but football all day long. And then the following day we have a scrimmage. And that scrimmage is essentially offense versus defense. And we play each other, and then we have a barbecue. So tomorrow is the time where, for the rookies who are coming on to the team, is the time where they're going to show what they have if they want to try to earn a starting position. Because if you come out to the team, yeah, you're going to have a place, but, you know, everyone wants to start, and you have to earn that spot. You're not going to be given that starting position.
Did you guys both have football background when you were in school? And
Yeah,
so I played in high school all 4 years, played line both ways, a small school. Now I play defensive end. We both play defensive end. One of the main reasons I came down to Southern California was to try and keep continuing to play football, and having the opportunity to play football again, surrounded by a great group of guys. Basically kind of like my second family now. Is just, you know, instilled that love of the sport with me, along with, you know, our values that we instill in the football team itself.
So clearly you guys are just totally dedicated to the giving back. I love that the proceeds all go to charity, and you guys are already out there serving our community and serving us every day with your lives, with your career, and what you do. Now you're serving, giving back by doing this. But tell me, how does it feel when you really get competitive? Like, is this really still, is there a lot of like, all right, we're going to win, this is competitive, take all that off the table, what's really going on?
I'll say that I played a little in high school, and then I played when I was in the Marine Corps as well. And I can tell you that this is the most competitive and hard-hitting league I've ever been in. I mean, a lot of times when we tell people, that we play football for charity, they're thinking it's like, flag football. But this is all-out, semi-pro, hard-hitting football. And like I said, it's the hardest-hitting league I've ever. My rookie year playing out in Dallas, I tore my PCL. And so we're out there putting our bodies and, our livelihood essentially on the line to play the game that we love. And it's a very, very competitive game. It's not pee-wee football out here. We're playing with grown men who hit hard, and a lot of guys who thought they weren't going to have the chance to play again, whether it's in college or. I mean, there's some guys who play in the league who used to play in the NFL, and some guys who thought they weren't never going to have a chance to play again. They're out there and they're putting their 110% on the line to play with their brothers.
It is so exciting. I mean, as fans, how do we choose who we root for? So we come out to that game, I'm like, uh-oh. Because I'm going to interview your opposing team here shortly. And they're going to be on our next episode. So if you guys want to, say anything now, or, we won't give any trade secrets for your team or what you guys are going to do, but I'm sure there's got to be that competition. And how do we choose? Because you guys are all amazing and our heroes.
Well, I mean, we are the only football team left in San Diego. The Chargers left. The Fleet was here for a short period of time. They're gone. Where we kind of help fill that gap between the NFL seasons. And as Emery mentioned earlier, we have multiple championships, multiple West Coast championships. We're one of the best teams in the league, year in and year out. We want everyone that loves football to come watch our games and root
San Diego needs this.
The best and the only football team left in town.
I know. San Diego needs this. We need you on multiple fronts. And what an awesome example of how you guys are doing that and how you've stepped up. I can't thank you enough for coming in and kind of letting me drill you like this and ask you all the questions. But it's exciting. I was excited to hear about it. I know our viewers are as well. And really, really can't wait to see what happens with this game and with the league with you guys. Please know that you have a welcome seat here anytime. We want to hear updates in any ways that we can support. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
You do not want to miss this game. How exciting is that? San Diego needs these teams, and we need to support them. February 8th, make sure you're there. Support the Enforcers. We'll be right back with more of Veterans One.
To some, reaching the pinnacle of your goals means getting to the top. To others, it's just about the journey. It can take you to places that redefine what's possible. And getting up every morning is a new opportunity for you to grow. It's a beautiful thing when a career and a passion come together. At Synergy One Lending, that's what we're all about. Synergy One, a lender committed to speed, ease, and expertise.
Here at Veterans One, we are so passionate about VA homeownership. Of course, we are sponsored by Synergy One Lending, who is an expert in VA homeownership as well. And we have a wonderful guest today that has a passion, purpose, and drive for helping our veterans get into houses, and we have some exciting updates on that. I want to introduce you to Alanna. So good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's
now,
awesome to be
Alanna,
here.
you're gorgeous. But I want our viewers to not get distracted from that and realize that you have an incredible background and a heart for giving back. But first, you have a background that you were actually in the Navy. Let's talk about that.
So I went to University of San Diego. I did ROTC. I commissioned in 2008. I was active duty until 2015.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
What did that look like for you in active duty? Where did you go and what did you do?
So I was stationed on the USS Rushmore. We did deployment. We did the full Westpac. So we went over. I don't know the right way to put it. We toured the oil platforms, and so we protected them for about 8 months, and then we came back over, and then I was on the USS San Diego. So we pre-commissioned it, so it was before the government actually owned it, and so we lived in Pascagoula, Mississippi, which is a beautiful place. It's quite different from San Diego. And then I came back out here, and I was stationed in Coronado, and then I went to the reserves, and then I went to real estate.
Wow. How did your time in the military change you? What did it open your eyes to that now we're going to transcend and talk about your career in real estate, but how did that change you?
Thank you for asking. It's such an interesting question because I don't have any other perspective, right? So I graduated college and went straight into the military. My dad's a retired captain.
Wow,
and
thank you.
Well, thank you for your tax dollars. So I don't have any other perspective on it, but when I got out and got into the civilian sector, I realized that when people say they're going to do something, they don't always do it. And in the military, when you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. Like,
Right.
that's how it is, right?
Right.
And so that something like that discipline, that attention to detail, and like knowing that your decisions affect other people. It's not about money. It's not about anything. It's about people's lives. Gives you a lot more purpose on every day-to-day decision. And so it's certainly transitioned into my real estate career. But with the military, I think that just the acknowledgement of the exposure to being disciplined and
Right.
commitment and just
And excuse the pun, it was a training, but you
100%,
literally
yeah.
got not just training that's military training, you got mindset training
Right.
that is going to affect how you do everything the rest of your life.
100%.
I think it's fantastic, and I talk to different people that have come out of the military, and that transition is such a big deal. Now what? Okay, I've been in the
Right.
military. I know what I'm doing. I know what my orders are. Now what? And you have done an incredible job of taking that and taking your now what over to
Right.
real estate, to where now you have a huge impact on helping others with their transition, with relocation. So let's talk about your expertise and how you have tied those together.
Well, once again, thanks for asking. So I had been doing, when I got out, I knew that I was going to get my GI Bill, and so I went to grad school at USC afterward,
Wow.
and the military paid for it, right? And I had enough passive income from separate income streams, but my parents taught me that, and a lot of people don't get taught that. And so I had people that were working for me, and they were sending money home, and I knew how much money they took home every single month. So I'm like, how can I have these people be able to live and not worry about their family back home? So I was always thinking about that for them. And so I had been a Lyft driver, and one of my passengers had asked me if I was interested in doing Airbnb. And I said, that's crazy. Like, people staying at my house, that's what in the world? Then she told me how much money she made. And I was like, okay, I'll consider it. So I started doing Airbnb, and I ended up being the #1 Airbnb community leader in Southern California in 2015. Flew me out to Paris, all expenses paid, won this wonderful award, and then people started reaching out to me about real estate, because Airbnb is essentially
What a
property
great
management.
segue for that too.
Who'd have thought? You
Right.
can't set yourself up for that, right? It was
Right.
just completely like unexpected. And then when I got into real estate, I had bought my first property after I got back from that deployment, and I had not used my VA loan. Like I mentioned, my father is retired military. They own a lot of investment properties right now, and they've never used their VA loan.
Isn't that, my dad is
you
retired
gotta-
Air Force, and he didn't use his VA loan until about 5 years ago.
And people don't know.
And I think it was a different mindset then.
And it
really was a different
different, yep.
mindset. And I was like, Dad, why have you not done this? And so, like you, I was so proud when my dad finally did use his VA loan.
Yep.
And now there are tremendous changes that just took
100%.
place for January that's affecting your business, what you can do, and the VA loan. Let's talk about what just happened.
So that's the best part about it, is the VA loan not only is usually a lower percentage rate, so your APR, your interest rate that people talk
Yeah.
about, it's traditionally lower, so about half a point lower, which is awesome payment-wise. But the most exciting thing, previously you did have a loan cap. So if you
Right, each
qualified-
county had different
Exactly.
caps on how much they could spend, right?
You'd have to bring 25% of the delta. So if you, here in San Diego last year, it was $690. So if you wanted $1 million home, which if you have 3 kids in San Diego, that's kind of the price point that you're at.
That's the average community.
Absolutely. It's not cheap here, and we know that. We know
Yes.
rent's exorbitant.
Yes.
So how can we protect these veterans and let them not blow all of their BAH? Well, in 2019, our president signed into law that on January 1st of this year, there's no more loan limit. So if you qualify,
It's a game
you
changer.
can buy.
Absolute game changer,
yeah.
because now it also changes the different types of things they can buy.
100%. So you used to be able to use your VA loan to buy multi-units up to 4 units, no matter what, but you still had that same cap as
Same loan
limitation.
limit, right.
Exactly. Now,
Limited the spending.
well, and
there was no inventory for what there
exactly. We're gonna get a duplex for under
Right.
700 grand, which sounds so crazy as I say it out loud, but it's San Diego. Like, where are
That's
you
the
gonna?
normal.
Right. So now with no loan limit, if you find a 3-unit in Point Loma, that's $2 million, but it brings in $6,000 a month on Airbnb from 1 unit, and then $3,000 a month from your long-term renter. You're gonna qualify and you're gonna live there for free, with nothing down.
Game changer.
100%.
I bet you are having a ball spreading the word about this and already getting people informed and educated and ready to flip that switch and do it.
So my partner and I, that's exactly what we're doing. It's the advocacy, because I didn't know about that. Our parents didn't know about
Right.
that. How can you teach people to build wealth at such a young age?
Right.
with nothing down.
That's why we're here. That's why we do this. Like, you can do it. And there are great people like you out there to sit, answer the questions, help them walk it through it. They are not alone. I know you would probably take that call and say, I am helping you every step of the way.
Every time, across the country, so I'm here to help.
And what I love is just seeing, like, you know, your face on a business card or just in passing or somebody saying something. I love that our viewers now can see you have served. You speak this language. You come from a family that is served. You are educated, clearly, top of your game. And I'm so excited to recommend you and hope that all of our viewers reach out to ask more questions. Thank you, Alanna. You are a dynamo.
Thank you for having me.
To know you are, will you come back another time and give us updates?
I would love to. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Exciting new stuff. No loan limit on the VA loan. Definitely reach out to Alanna. You can reach us here at Synergy One Lending as well, and we can answer all your questions. We'll be right back with more. Wow, that was so much fun. I know that I can't meet that many great people in such a short time and not be empowered, inspired, and excited, and I hope that you were as well. This show is just getting started for 2020, and we have so much fun ahead. You want to make sure and share this information, share the content, talk to us on social media, tag somebody you love, tag this information. Remember to say thank you to Synergy One Lending for making this all happen for us. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs, and we will see you on the next Veterans One.